Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Thank you for tuning in. I took a little bit of an extended break from filming for the past couple of weeks, which was kind of intentional and also kind of not. Yeah, life's just been chaotic. I don't think there's nothing massive has happened. Obviously, you saw that we brought home a puppy, and yeah, I've just been adjusting to the change, doing lots of puppy training, and that's kind of just taken up quite a lot of my time and headspace. And there's just been a lot of adjusting, and like routine changes and things like that. So life's just been a bit chaotic. Also, we're in the point where my daughter's school is like wrapping up for the year, so it's been really, really busy with events and things with her, and yeah, just been needing a bit more time and not being able to spend quite so much time sewing or knitting or anything. So yeah, I sat down to film last week and I was just looking at my knitting. I was like, I haven't really done anything. Like, I haven't really finished anything or anything like that. So I thought, oh, I'll put it off for yet another week. And then I sat down and filmed on Monday, and I just didn't really have a huge amount of energy. We had a bit of a horrendous night on Sunday night because my older dog, unfortunately, didn't adjust to the heat wave that we were having particularly well. I mean, he never does. He doesn't like the heat very much. And so he was a bit poorly. And so we were up most of Sunday night and then filming on Monday with like low energy, and also just feeling a bit like I was kind of just going through the motions with it and sort of fell out of love with it. So I sat down to edit it and I just thought, you know what, this is just rubbish. Like, I wouldn't want to watch this. And so I'm not going to edit it. And I thought, actually, you know what, to ease myself in, let's do a little bit more of like a casual, like spend the day with me video and just see where it goes. So I am going to sit down and talk about my knitting in a minute. But yeah, it's just been chaotic. And so I'm sorry I kind of took an extended break without really like saying anything. But yeah, I just needed some time. I think I just kind of was suffering with a lot of overwhelm as well. Like, I don't think I really anticipated quite how much work bringing another dog into the family was going to be. I kind of thought, oh, well, we've already got one, so it'll just slot in quite nicely. And actually, I think I'd just forgotten a lot about the puppy phase, and how much work that is. But we have had Biggs for nearly a month now, so hopefully that means that we have kind of got a bit more of a routine going, and I can get back to filming and editing and everything normally. But yeah, I thought it might be fun to spend the day together. I've got a mostly home day today. I've got to take the dogs out in a little bit. Biggs has already been for one walk, but he goes for two because he has got so much energy. So yeah, I've got some more dog walking to do today. It's like 10:15. So yeah, a little bit of a later start than I was initially intending to, but I kind of got caught up doing some bits in the garden, which thankfully is thriving. The veg patch is doing so well. So I will probably show you guys around that a little bit later. But just for the people who don't necessarily want to hear me waffle on about my day and sort of going about my day, I thought I'd just sit down and talk about my knitting first. I haven't actually done any sewing in a really long time, so no sewing to show you really. But yeah, I thought I'd sit down and talk about my knitting first, so then if you are only here for the podcast kind of stuff, then you can have that bit and just hop off afterwards. I won't take any offence to it, I get it. I don't think I'm particularly interesting, but yeah, I thought I would just, I don't know, do a little bit more of a vlog and kind of change it up a bit and breathe a little bit of life into the podcast instead of it being so like structured. But anyway, got tea. Both dogs are sleeping. So yeah, let's go and find my knitting, shall we? Oh. Okay, so I should probably get my notebook actually as well. Right, so like I say, I did actually sit down and film this on Monday, so I do have like basic notes. Some of them have moved on a little bit now because it's Wednesday. So I have been working on a couple of my whips a little bit more. But I do have 2 finished objects from the past couple of weeks. Like I say, I have not done a ton of knitting, so there's like limited amounts of stuff that I've actually kind of managed to work on, and I have abandoned another whip, which is very unlike me. I don't usually tend to like abandon things that I'm working on, but I have good reason for this, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So finished objects wise, I have got my lily top, which I would have worn today, but it's, to be honest, it's just too warm. It's currently, yeah, so it's currently 24 degrees Celsius, which I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's pretty warm today, and a merino long sleeve top, even if it's fingering weight, is just too warm to wear today. I did get some B-roll of me wearing this the other day though, so I'll put that in so that you can kind of see what it looks like. But here she is, and I do really, really like this top. However, I ran out of yarn pretty quickly in the body and had to just bind it off because I knit this out of yarn that I frogged from another project, so I didn't have any more, and I don't believe that this exact colour is available anymore from Sandnes Garn. It's Sandnes Garn Sunday, and I can't remember what the actual colour is because I bought this yarn like 3 years ago, so it's been a long time, and yeah, I haven't been able to find it again, so I can't buy it anymore, and I'm pretty sure that I would never be able to get the same dye lot. And although I think Sandnes Garn would be good at being pretty consistent with their dye lots over 3 years can change dramatically. And so yeah, I just wasn't prepared to buy another ball of yarn in a colour that I kind of expect to be the same, but could not be. So yeah, it's pretty cropped. I mean, it's still wearable, but it's just more cropped than I would have wanted it to be. And I mean, I could take some length out of the sleeves and add it into the body, but to be honest, I like the sleeves. So yeah, it's just, it kind of limits the things that I can wear it with, but it's still completely wearable. So yeah, this is what my lily top looks like. It's a pretty boxy at the bottom, but almost negative ease over the bust. Set in sleeve, fingering weight t-shirt. Well, mine's long sleeve because I modded it to be long sleeved. And it's got little rolled edges, which I absolutely love. I've already made this once as a t-shirt in purple. And so yeah, I knew I wanted another one because I wear that one so much, and I wanted it to be long sleeve so I could wear it in like more of the transitional months. And this definitely fits that kind of gap that I had in my wardrobe. And to be honest, I now want to knit more long sleeved versions of some of the like hand knit tees that I've got so that I can wear them in more sort of situations. And so yeah, I absolutely love this. I ended up using a 3.5mm needle for majority of it, and then a 3mm needle for my like rolled edges. Worked out perfectly. Knew it was probably going to work because A, my swatch told me it was, and B, my other one is knit in the same needles, although in a different yarn. And yeah, I think it blocked out really nicely where the frogged yarn was. The bottom of this was knit in just yarn, like fresh yarn straight from the ball. And I don't think you can tell too much. I mean, there's the odd sort of uneven stitch, but I think with more blocking and more wear, like more wear and more washing, I think it's going to even out even more, and you won't even be able to notice. You can't notice when I'm wearing it, so it doesn't really bother me at all. For the sleeve modifications, I did 7 decreases over the sleeve. I knit the sleeve to pattern until the point where it says to start doing like the purl ridge and the bind off, and I ignored that, and then I just carried on knitting. I did 7 decreases with like a knit, like I started the round, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit the rest of the round until there were only 3 stitches left, SSK'd, and then knit 1. Just a standard 2-stitch decrease for a sleeve. I did that 7 times. The first 3 I did 17 rounds apart, and then the last 4 I did 15 rounds apart. And to be perfectly honest, I could have done them like 20 rounds apart, like all 7 of them, because the decreases stop. Oh, I don't even know if I can see them now. Where are you? That's because that's the wrong side of the sleeve. That's helpful, isn't it? Where are the last of the decreases? Here? Yeah, that's the last decrease there. So I have loads of stockinette at the end. So I had loads of room to add in the extra rounds between the decreases, but it fits perfectly fine. I'm sure I'll probably end up making another one. And yeah, I'm really, really happy that I repurposed this yarn into this top because I think it's going to get so much more wear, and it's definitely a better use of the yarn than just sitting in a hat that was never getting anywhere. So all in all, I used 154 grams. And I cast this on May the 20th and I cast it off on June the 10th. So it took 22 days to knit. And cost-wise, I used 3 balls of Sandnes Garn Sunday, and that's £19.80. And the pattern itself is £7. So full cost of this pattern was £26.80, which is pretty good for a 100% merino wool long sleeve top. So I'm pretty happy with this. And I'm looking forward to being able to wear it when the weather cools down a little bit, because I've done that typical thing of knitting things in the warmer months and then not being able to wear them. But I'm pretty sure that if we get some 18 degrees days, which are not uncommon in the summer in the UK, then I will be able to wear that. Where should we go next? Okay, we'll do my other finished object, which is actually a gift knit, and I'm not 100% sure if it is finished yet. I'm not 100% happy with it. So a couple of months ago, I made a baby bear bonnet and some booties for one of my husband's colleagues who is having a baby. And well, she's had the baby now. That was in November that I was making those, I think, or maybe December. I can't remember, either one. I made those last year. And now another one of my husband's colleagues is having a baby, and so she will be going off maternity leave in a couple of weeks. And I thought I'd carry on the theme and make a little gift for her. And so I decided to change up what I was going to make this year. Doorbell. Apologies, guys. My postman was just dropping off some parcels for my husband. Anyway, yeah, so I decided to make a gift for my husband's colleague who is now going off to have a baby. And I thought I would mix it up and do something a little bit different, because the last one the last gift that I made was for a little girl, and this one is for a little boy. And so I thought I would make something a little bit different. And I decided to do 2 patterns from Hannah Graham, who also has a YouTube channel, which I will link down below. And the first one I did was the baby bear hat. So this is it's a really simple double folded brim with stockinette hat, and then you add on these cute little ears as well on the top. And yeah, it was a really lovely pattern to knit up. I used the recommended needles for this, which was 3.25 and a 3.75 millimeter. And I knit up the 0 to 6 months size, because this pattern does come in a lot of sizes. It comes from preemie all the way up to 10 years. But because she is having her baby in July, I was kind of knowing the weather that we're having at the moment, she's probably not going to need hats for it for a little while. And so I thought if I make the 0 to 6 months, then it should sort of carry them through a fair bit of the autumn as well. And I decided to use, let me grab a ball. Yeah, so I decided to use Serdar Stories DK, which is a cotton, oh, sorry, Biggs is standing, well, lying behind the tripod. So yeah, if it moves, I apologise. But yeah, I decided to use Serdar Stories, which is a 60% cotton, 40% acrylic yarn. Because this is going to a non-knitter, I wanted to make something that was going to be really easy for them to be able to chuck in the washing machine. Babies obviously spit up on clothing and put things in their mouths and all that kind of thing. It's just easier to be able to just chuck it in the washing machine. She already has 1 child, and so I don't think that she's going to be hand washing a lot of baby stuff, and so it just seems much more appropriate to use a more sort of appropriate washing machine appropriate yarn, and also I wanted something that wasn't going to be too warm on the baby's head. So a cotton acrylic blend just seemed like the best option, because at least then it was going to have a little bit more softness and like stretch and things in there than a full cotton, but it was also going to remove any kind of itch factor for sensitive skin. So yeah, I think this is definitely a really good yarn for baby knits. Really, really great, like soft, robust yarn, without being, I think because it's got higher cotton content than acrylic, I think it's got that kind of breathability without it being too sort of hot and sweaty, which is what I often find with acrylic garments. So yeah, I think it's a really, really good yarn for like kids knits. And yeah. Yeah, it was really affordable as well. It was like £2.50 a ball, which is really, really nice for something that you don't know if it's going to get a huge amount of use, and just really nice kind of affordable yarn for gift knitting. So yeah, I used the colour Cloud 9. Is that the right way up? No, that way. There we go. So I used the colour Cloud 9. You get 140 meters per 50 grams, and I got 4 of these. Because I also decided to make up another gift to go with this hat. So knitting of the hat was really, really easy. You start with a provisional cast on, you knit your ribbing, and then you join the sort of top of the ribbing and the bottom of the ribbing together by knitting them together. And then you do a little bit more ribbing so that there's enough there for the kind of like flippy uppy bit. And then you just do your stockinette portion, some decreases, and then bind off and pick up stitches for the ears. You can seam the ears on, but I decided to pick up stitches. And this is the bit that I'm not particularly happy with. I think I might go and re-knit the ears, but move them down slightly. So when they're wearing the hat, they're sort of like here instead of directly on top of the head. But I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. I think it's really, really cute. I used less than 1 ball of yarn for this, so less than 50 grams. So it's a really good like little stash project as well. Really easy, really affordable. And I hope that the recipient likes this as much as I do. I think I might actually make one of these in my daughter's size for her to wear as well, even maybe in this yarn, because it would be really good for when she goes to school, because they do forest school. If it gets muddy, dirty, gets anything on it, it's really easy to just shove it in the washing machine. So yeah, definitely recommend the yarn, definitely recommend the pattern. It's so cute. And yeah, I had so much fun knitting this up. It was really nice to do something that didn't take ages. And it was a nice way to kind of like reinvigorate my knitting mojo after I kind of lost it a little bit after kind of just getting a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. But yeah, it was a really quick project. I cast it on June the 15th. I cast it off on June the 17th. So it took me a grand total of 2 days. And the Serdar stories, I used less than 1 ball, but 1 ball is £2.50. The pattern itself is £4.83. So the grand total is £7.33, which is pretty good. I'm really happy with that. I think it would actually cost you more money to buy a hat in a shop than to buy the pattern and the yarn. So yeah, that was really lovely little sort of quick knit to reinvigorate my knitting mojo over the past couple of weeks. So that's everything I've finished. Like I say, not a huge amount of stuff. It's a really loud helicopter going over. But I do have some whips as well. So in the same kind of theme as my finished Ollies Bear Hat, I decided to also knit up a little jumper for my husband's colleague's baby. And so this is Ollie's Classic Crew, which is also by Hannah Graham. I thought they would go quite nicely together. I've been eyeing up this pattern for quite a while, and I am again knitting this out of Serdar Stories in the colour Cloud 9, this same yarn, because I thought then it's a nice little matching set. And especially when we get into like some cooler months, then they might be able to like style them together and everything. And I thought it was quite a nice kind of like easy breezy project. It's kind of like a sweatshirt type of jumper. So it'll mean that it's gonna have some nice sort of like folded edge finishings, which I have done here on the body already. I need to do the neckband. I thought then it's going to be easy, it's going to be nice and stretchy to get over the baby's head and everything. And so I'm doing the baby size. This pattern comes in like baby and then a couple of other older sizes. I think it goes up to age 10, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm doing the baby size, which is quite big for a baby size. It's definitely not like a newborn baby size, but like I say, this baby is due in July, so she's probably going to want to wear this, like put this on the baby like later on when it's a bit bigger. And I think this will have plenty of growing room. I definitely feel like I was very grateful for things that were a little bit bigger when my daughter was born, because you can always like roll up the sleeves and everything when they're little, and they're quite bulky. Like sometimes their baby grows are quite bulky, so it's nice to have something that's a bit more loose on them. And I don't know, I was terrified of putting things over her head for a little while when she was a baby. I mean, I realised this is going to be like second baby, so you probably not got the same sort of things as I had because she was my first and only baby. But yeah, getting things over a baby's head is always kind of a little bit nerve-wracking when they're little. So I think having something that's slightly bigger with a slightly bigger neckband is going to benefit, and it will be useful in the autumn winter. So I cast this on Monday, so that was the 23rd, and this is my progress so far. So this is after 2 days worth of progress, and it just knits up so fast. It's like a 20 stitch by 28 row gauge. I'm using a 4.5mm needle. I've gone up one size from the pattern, from a 4mm, and I used a 3.75 for my edging. And yeah, this is just such a fun pattern to knit up. It has got short rows, which I love. I hate it when baby knits and little kids knits don't have short rows, because they need their back necks to be higher than their front necks as well. Like that doesn't change if you're little. So yeah, very much enjoyed the fact that there are short rows in this, and it even sort of brings the like little garter stitch pattern into it at the neckline on the front, which I really, really like. It's like a 4-row repeat, so it's really easy to memorize. I like that the sleeves are just stockinette, so it breaks it up a little bit, gives it a bit more interest. And then there's these like stockinette panels, so you don't get like a weird sort of jog where the beginning of round is between like the end of the garter stitch round and the beginning of the garter stitch round, because sometimes they can sort of be a bit like that. So there's none of that, because you've got these lovely little stockinette panels on each side. And I think this is just going to be a really lovely little layer. It's got quite a lot of room in the armhole, which is always good, because sometimes baby grows can be quite loose on them, or like t-shirts and things, and you don't want anything to be like tight on a baby. So yeah, there's loads of growing room in there, and I think it's going to be a really lovely little gift. I would love to receive this as a gift. And again, the pattern goes up to like quite a high age range, so I think I should be able to knit one of these for my daughter as well, so I'll be able to get a little bit more use out of the pattern. But like I say, it's just been a really fun thing to knit up. It's been really easy. I would definitely recommend it if you have got anybody who is having a baby in your life, for like a little gift knit, or anyone with a young child. Hannah's patterns are written up really, really nicely. They are so easy to kind of figure out what you're doing and everything, so easy to follow. So yeah, I have only got sleeves and neckband left to do on this, and so hopefully should have it done fairly soon. I'm going to sit down and maybe do the neckband in a little bit, and try and get that out of the way. But yeah, really lovely little knit, and yeah, I've been really enjoying working on it. It's been nice to have something that's a little bit more mindless, a little bit easier to follow, because some of my other whips at the moment are a little bit less kind of easy to follow. You all right, Betty? Come up. No? So yeah, that is my Ollies Classic Crew. I don't have any notes on that because I started it after the last time I filmed. So hopefully that's enough info for you guys. I will probably have to do a little bit of filming when I finished it and washed it and blocked it and everything, and like insert that into the next podcast, because I'm pretty sure I will have gifted it before I film. So I will try and remember to do that as well. If not, then you guys would never have seen it, because it would have been in and out before I filmed. But yeah, so that was that. And then next up, whip-wise, I've got my vanilla socks. So I think the last time I showed these, I was like just about to put the heel in sock 1. These are like self-drafted self-drafted vanilla socks. I'm using the Lonely Knitter Luxe sock base in her Wicked mini set. So you've got 5 minis and they all look like this. And yeah, just been plodding along with these. I did start sock 2. I got a fair bit of the way through that. I got the heel in and everything. And I'm actually further along on sock 2 than I am on sock 1. So you'll probably see me work on these a little bit later. I kind of want to get these off the needles and finished. But lovely little vanilla socks that I've been working on. I love Laura's sock base, her like Luxe sock base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I'm actually wearing a pair of socks knit up in her Luxe sock base today, and they're like my most hard wearing socks. I wear these all the time, and they have no sign of wear or holes in them. So yeah, love the colours in these. And I don't know why I haven't finished them. Like, I should just get on and work on them. But to be honest, majority of my focus these days has been on this, which is my love letter top. And this is a pattern by VERONIKA LINDBERG. And I am using some Drops Bell that I've had sat in my stash for a good while now. I'd say like 3 years maybe, possibly even longer. And yeah, I don't actually know what I bought it for. I've had it for so long that I can't actually remember what pattern I was intending to knit with it. But yeah, I've got a fair amount of it, enough to knit this top. And I was watching Paddington in Peru with my daughter a little while ago, and there's a top in it that's worn by one of the characters. I'll see if I can get a picture of her in it or something. But yeah, I've been wanting to replicate that, and I saw the love letter top and I was like, you know what, that's it. I'll just knit that because that's pretty much bang on. And so I have just been flying through this. This has been like all I want to knit. I had to go up quite a few needle sizes from the pattern. So I am using what am I using? I'm using a 3.5. The pattern recommends a 3, but my gauge was just way too tight on a 3mm, so I went up to a 3.5, and now it's so much better. So this is my progress so far. So this is the front, and then this is the back. And I made a massive boo-boo when I was knitting this, so I just wasn't concentrating enough on the pattern. And it's one of those ones where you've got to like scroll through to the end for the charts, but then the instructions are at the front of the pattern, so there's a lot of like moving around. And I missed one of the steps where it said that I needed to knit this top chart, and I started my original back panel here and knit the second chart, did all the increases for the underarm and everything, and I got pretty much to like here, and then reread the pattern and I was like, mine doesn't look right. And then realised that I had missed the step that said knit this chart. So I was like, oh, I don't want to frog this. I really don't. And so all I did was cast on again, because the stitch count here is the same as the stitch count here. So I cast on again, knit this top chart, and then I left those stitches on hold, picked up the top stitches of this chart, and then I cut off the setup rounds that I had initially done, setup rows, sorry, that I'd initially done on this bit of the chart. So I had live stitches, and then I just Kitchenered them together. And honestly, even I can't tell where that Kitchener line is. I mean, I can because like the ends are here, but in the actual knitting, I can't tell where it is, and not even on like the inside. So I think I did a pretty good job, and it hasn't really affected it at all. Like the fronts and backs are a good length still, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm glad I didn't have to frog it, so that was a real positive. But it did mean that when I went back and started the fronts, I made sure to read the pattern like 4 or 5 times and make sure I hadn't missed any steps. So the fronts were then pretty smooth sailing, and they have been so enjoyable. I love a lace chart. I think it's kind of what I needed to like get myself back into my knitting a little bit, because A, it knits up so quickly, and B, it's just really easy to sort of keep going, because it's not like stockinette where you can kind of switch off and start stressing about other things. You're constantly having to concentrate on it. It was just nice to like just switch off and just do my knitting and like concentrate solely on that and not everything else, like all of the external noise. And so yes, this is such a good project to be working on, and I absolutely love it. So I'm now into the body, and I don't think I've got that much left. I've got the rest of this chart and then maybe like 2 more charts left, so really not a huge amount of knitting. Like the rounds do take a lot longer now because I've got like double the amount of stitches as I did on the fronts and backs, but I absolutely love this, and it's knitting up so nicely. So I have used 1.5 balls so far. This is my second. So I used 1.5 balls, and then this, like the other half of this one. So essentially 2 balls so far. And then I've got this left of my second like full ball of yarn. And then I've got 2 more upstairs in my stash. So I definitely got more than enough to finish up this top. And yeah, it's a lovely, like cool, try and not hit my microphone, but it's just lovely and cool. And I think this is going to be a really nice summer layer. Like I'm not a massive summer garment knitter, because I always feel like by the time I finish them, I can wear them for like 2 weeks and then that's pretty much it. But I think this will be nice to like have on underneath cardigans and things in the winter. Maybe not the winter, maybe the autumn and spring. It'll be a really nice layering piece. And yeah, I think it's just a really lovely top. And I'm not sure why I didn't knit it before. Like I've seen this pattern a couple of times and thought, oh, that's really lovely. And then never got around to knitting it. But it has kind of made me think, oh, maybe I would like to actually knit some of the like summer tops that I've got from Sari Nordland in my pattern library. A lot of them have got like lace and stockinette and things in them. So yeah, maybe I should sort of look into that as well. But I don't really want to go and like buy a load of summer yarn at the moment, because by the time I get around to knitting it, it might not be summery anymore. So maybe that's something that I need to look out for like spring of next year. But yeah, that is my love letter top, and I cast it on June the 18th. So I've had this on my needles for 8 days so far, but I haven't worked on it since like Sunday night because I have been working on this. So this is like 6 days worth of progress really. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that's turning out. I'm not going to put it on because I'm not actually at the point where it's like got a lot of coverage. Actually, no, yeah, let's put it on. Where is my tubing? Let's do a try on. I feel like I've been chatting long enough now that I could have just sat down and filmed a regular podcast. But hey ho. Okay, got it on. Oh, this is looking really nice actually. So there's the back. Is that in shot? I don't know. So yeah, there's the back, and here is the front. So I've done a lot more progress on it than I thought. I think the last time I actually sort of put this on was when I was just about to join for the underarms. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I've got a marker in here from where I filmed on Monday. But yeah, I think I'm going to probably knit it so it's like here. So I've got a fair way to go. But because this is lace, it probably means that it's going to block out quite a lot. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, the drop spell is quite heavy, so it probably means I'm going to get a little bit of growth. So I might do like a mid-project block once I've finished the next chart and see sort of where I am with that. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. I think the colour works quite well with my skin tone. Like it's not, I don't think it's washing me out. I feel like it's kind of very similar to the yarn that I used for my, what is it? Camisole number 5? Camisole number 1? No, camisole number 5. The one that's got the funky neckline by My Favourite Things Knitwear. Which I love the colour of that, but I just don't wear it very often because of the neckline. I know a lot of people suggested like get like a linen shirt or something to go over the top of it, but I don't know how much like that is like in my style. I don't know. I need to rethink it a little bit. But anyway, I'm very, very happy with this. I like the fact that this is a similar colour to that. And yeah, I think this is called Rose Water or something, this yarn. Yeah, it's colour 22 of Drop Spell. And yeah, I really like it. I really want to try the, what is it, Sanezgan Lena. I've used the thick Lena before, but I want to try the like DK version or even the fingering weight. I think that would be really nice. But like I say, I don't want to go and buy a load of summer yarns at the moment. But yeah, really enjoying how this looks. And I should probably take it off. But actually, I'll talk about the last thing before I take this off. So, as you guys will probably remember, I was knitting a My Honey vest, which is currently living in this bag. And I have just stalled on it, to be honest. I haven't really knit any more of it. I think I've literally just joined it under the underarms. Here, let me put this mic back on so that I can actually hold things with both hands. There we go. I love the fact that this one is magnetic, so you don't have to clip it on, so it doesn't like ruin the necklines of whatever you're wearing. But yeah, so this is my Honey vest, which is incredibly tangled and is also only got one needle in it at the moment. Oh my God, which way round does this go? So I've just joined it at the underarms. Wait, have I? No, I haven't joined it at the underarms. That's how little I have done on this. It's just looking like this at the moment, and I think I'm going to have to put it into hibernation for a little while because I had a bit of an incident where my unspun, I left it on the sofa in the bag with the bag done up. And Biggs came in and grabbed the bag and he managed to get this plate of unspun out of it. Luckily I came in like just as he had got it out, but it was pretty sort of well in his mouth. And so I just don't think that this is a good idea to work with at the moment until I can like fully kind of trust that he is not going to put my knitting in his mouth at the moment. And also like, I don't know how good the honeycomb brioche is going to be if it gets caught whilst like if I'm wearing it and he like catches it or something, because it's just a clumsy puppy and it just stresses me out. So I'm going to put it in hibernation for a little bit until I can sort of trust him a little bit more around my knitting and things like that, because more robust yarns like the Drop Spell and even like this Serdar Stories, like they are not going to break quite as easily, but that unspun will break if he gets hold of it. So I think it's the smell. I think because it smells very sheepy, I think that draws him to it. But you know, dogs are dogs. I don't really understand. I don't remember how I managed to teach Ruffles not to go for anything knitted. Like he won't even touch my daughter's toys. He's just very, very good with things like that. But yeah, Bigsy is just little and I just don't want my knitting chewed. And I don't want to like put a load of work into something and then it get destroyed. So yeah, I just I'm just putting it on pause. Also, it's just way too hot to wear it at the moment. I think the autumn is going to be the time for this to shine, when it's like a little bit chilly in the mornings and it's nice to have an extra layer on, like over the top of a t-shirt or a vest or anything. So yeah, I think that's going to definitely come into its own in the autumn. So hopefully I can kind of bring it back out like late summer, but we shall see. But that is all of my knitting stuff. So if you did only want to stay for the knitting portion, then thank you so much for sticking around. But yeah, I probably will film a couple more snippets towards the end of the day. I'm going to sit down now and I think get the neckband added in to this Ollies Classic Crew for my husband's colleague. And then I think I might make some lunch because it's now like 11:30 somehow. But yeah, I need to get this off as well. So yeah, let's pick up some stitches for this and then grab some lunch and see where the rest of the day takes us. In a little while. I was joined by a dog for a minute, but he's slunk off somewhere else. But I have done the pickup for the neckband and I've done about a round and a half. So not very much at all, but both the dogs now need to go for a walk and then hopefully get this neckband finished before I have to go and pick up the little one. I mean, that might be a bit of a pie in the sky kind of goal, but we shall see. One can hope. Do you want to go for a walk? Biggs? Biggsy! No, the Kong is more interesting. How about you, Ruffles? Want to go for a walk? Yeah? Should we go? Come on then. So it's like 2:30. I think I'm gonna end this vlog here because I'm gonna be heading off in a minute to go and pick up the little one from school, and then it's pretty much just like reading practice, homework, dinner, bedtime routine, all that kind of thing, and it's always very, very hectic. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I did manage to get the neckband sewed down on this little jumper, so I managed to finish the neckband and get it sewn down. So that is now looking so much more clean and crisp. And then I've just got the sleeves to do, so hopefully I'll get this finished fairly soon in the next couple of days, and then I can get it washed and blocked, film a little bit, and then get it off to the recipient, because she is heading off on maternity leave very, very soon. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed kind of coming along on this little like extended sort of knitting podcast, catch-up vlog, that kind of thing. And let me know if you liked the format of this video, and I can maybe think about doing some more kind of vlog style podcasts in the future. And also let me know if you hated it and you want me to go back to the normal like formal structure of a knitting podcast, because yeah, it's always nice to have a little bit of feedback, even if it is like constructive criticism. But yeah, another thing I wanted to say was that going forward for the summer holidays, I will be posting a podcast every 2 weeks instead of every week. First of all, because we've seen I can't get that much done knitting wise. Today was like an odd day where I just had nothing else in the schedule and I could actually get some bits done, but obviously I needed to film. It was supposed to be an editing day, so now tomorrow is going to be a very heavy editing day alongside everything else that I need to get done. But yeah, it's been a heavy couple of weeks. And it's not really going to get any less busy because we are heading towards the summer holidays, so my daughter's going to be at home with me, so that's going to be a lot more of my time taken up by spending some really good quality time with her. So yeah, I'm going to move the podcast to every 2 weeks to take the pressure off, and also just to make it a little bit more entertaining for you guys, because to be perfectly honest, you don't want to see all my podcast, well, all of my, what am I trying to say? You don't want to see all of my projects when I've done like 2 rounds on each one. It's just not, it's not entertaining. So yeah, if I do it every 2 weeks, then I can get a little bit more progress done and it can be a little bit more entertaining for you guys as well. But yeah, I am gonna sign off. I might get a couple of clicks. I might get a couple of clips of this afternoon, evening, so that there's a little bit more filler. I don't know. I feel like I've already waffled on for such a long time in this vlog that it pretty much could have been a knitting podcast on its own. But you know, sometimes it's nice to catch up, and it's been a long time since I filmed a video. But yeah, as always, I would love to know what you guys have been working on. I'd love to know like what you guys have been working on whilst I've been deep in puppy training and everything else that's been going on. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch up with you all in a couple of weeks with another podcast. Happy making!